Hello, everyone. Happy Wednesday. I'm Anna Morgan, your career BFF. This is the first Evolve Live, and I could not be more excited to welcome one of our premier sponsors, BrightPath. So, are you curious about Evolve? We're going to cover that. I'm going to have the pleasure to introduce you to my new career BFF, Lou, and learn about BrightPath and his why, his journey, where he's been, and some of the amazing tips and resources that he's going to be a part of here in Atlanta on January 30th for the first ever Evolve TA and HR experience. So, with that, I am going to bring Lou on stage. Please say hello. Let us know where you're tuning in from. Good day. How are you?
I am great. I've been waiting. This has been on my calendar for a few weeks now, and I've been. Is it today? Is it the day? So,
yay!
Super excited.
Now is the time.
Yes.
So I would love for you to, just introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about you, where you're from, how did you get into doing what you do? And then, we'll drill down and, I'll get to put my interviewing hat on and ask you a bunch of questions. How's that sound?
That sounds fantastic. Everybody's favorite topic is themselves. But so just real briefly about me, I'm a recovering benefits broker, employee benefits broker, been in the industry for 32 years. 25 of those years were primarily focused on it being a general agent. So I was the broker behind the scenes working with other brokers who really didn't specialize in benefits. And I would say first 25 years of my career were pretty much the norm. I sold insurance. I was an insurance salesperson, essentially. That's what I thought my job was. But in 2017, that all changed. The industry changed dramatically. The ACA kind of was probably the start of that pivotal shift. But I realized that things weren't heading in the right direction for employers and their people. And I just started asking some real tough questions and decided to change everything. I'm now the benefits whisperer. I call myself a benefit optimization officer and have come up with what I think is the plan that employers need to follow in order to get out from underneath this crazy world of insurance and healthcare that we're in now.
I love that. The benefits whisperer. So fun. Well, I mean, our focus today is really to kind of dive into this topic for HR leaders, how to transform healthcare benefits into, a performing plan that not only can save the organization money, but get the employees access to the care that they need, which is also directly ties into retention, engagement, and ultimately that also affects the bottom line. So you made that pivot and you have been working with a wide variety of businesses. What is your sweet spot? Kind of any industries, any sizes of organization? I know you have a huge heart for people like I do, which is why we connected so beautifully. So tell me a little bit about kind of your area of focus.
So from a business standpoint, our deliberate prospecting, partially because we're here in New York, which is where a lot of our business is, but we're not really exclusive to that, is focused on companies with 100 or more employees because of what we can do for them, the restrictions of the insurance industry. But the truth is that whether you're a 2-person company or a 500-person company, it's people.
Yeah.
And anybody who gets referred to me, we will help, because I know that if they're talking with me, they probably have some problem either with the cost of health insurance or the quality of health care, which is really what I'm super passionate about, is helping people find the best health care, which should not be very difficult in 2025, but the powers that be make it extremely difficult. And so we'll help anybody. Really, it doesn't matter to us. You just become part of the family, really, from our standpoint.
I love that. I love that. We're kindred spirits in that way. The benefits whisperer, and then my brand is Career BFF. And I tease my clients, I'm a rescuer of dogs and careers, but my clients end up becoming my friends.
Yes.
And my community is my friends, which is part of the reason that I took this bold leap to create Evolve, in true outlier underdog energy.
Hmm.
And having coached HR and talent leaders on their job search and their careers, I hear a variety of challenges and opportunities. And one of them is dealing with stakeholders and how do I, advocate for getting those benefits. So, at Evolve, you're going to be sharing a little bit about creating a health plan, right?
Yes.
Which is how you can offer different health insurance. But, can you explain some of that shift and why that's so important for HR leaders and talent leaders today?
Yeah. So, I would say 15 years ago, there was a real huge shift in the decision-making process at companies. The C-suite, I call them, the CFOs, the CEOs, owners, kind of stepped away from the benefit decision-making process, and I say this, dumped it on HR, on top of everything else that is thrown at HR. I mean, they're the heartbeat of every company, but they're also overwhelmed with work. They really are, and that was a real advantage that was given to the health insurers and
Mm-hmm.
also the healthcare system, because they're very busy people. So what I realized, and I can tell you behind the scenes, what brokers are saying is, we don't want to talk to HR. We want to bypass HR to get to the C-suite. And
Okay.
there's some credibility there, but we need to work with HR. This is a form of compensation. It's strangling businesses. So what we realize, and I think hopefully most people in your audience would agree with, is the focus is on insurance.
Mm-hmm.
I would imagine, I'm not an HR person, but I've worked with many of them, and I know you are, and you're in tune with tons of HR people. This is
Mm-hmm.
the worst time of the year, open enrollment. This is
Well,
more work that's
it's
dumped
more
on
work.
them.
And then I just was laughing, which I don't know if you saw my goofy just woke up grumpy post today, but
Yeah.
every single year, especially when I was in agency or corporate recruiting, coming back from the holiday time and time off was brutal. So those of you that aren't in HR and TA, be kind to
Yes.
those folks in your organization because they're getting buried. And it
Yes.
was usually on Tuesday where my hiring managers were like, hope you had a great holiday. Where are my candidates?
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So everyone's trying to finalize budgets, like you said, look at open enrollment, and really just kind of get through that first month of January, which is also why I keep telling organizations like surprise your team with a day of career development and come to Evolve. Like 94% of employees say that if their company's invested in their career development and education, they are more likely to stay at the organization. So,
Yeah.
I just was laughing about, the grind essentially. So, you're
But
going to
just to
be
get back to the
presenting.
plan, because I didn't answer the question really.
Oh, sorry.
So yeah, no, I think what we realize is that because everybody is so busy, time is the most precious commodity that everybody has, and this is disruptive. At least the impression that is, going to market, changing companies is disruptive. So what we've realized is that there just has to be a slight mindset shift. You are not buying insurance. That is not what you're buying. Like, you don't buy a mortgage. You find a home and you finance it with a mortgage. You are making investment into the healthcare of your employees, which you know very little about. It's very personal. But that's what you're doing. So when you focus on the healthcare part of it and you put a plan together, and plan, it's an acronym obviously, but if you prioritize the health of your employees, if you leverage cost savings, which most people in your audience probably aren't aware what's available, there's an entire alternative ecosystem of solution partners that supplement traditional health insurance plans that really can save significant amount of money. If you align with high value care and then you help your employees navigate the healthcare system, you can reduce your health insurance cost to the business by 25% or more easily. But more importantly, you're providing your employees with the most valuable resource, which is, especially for the most vulnerable, the people who are lowest on the totem pole from a pay standpoint, but also the sickest amongst your population. Help them navigate healthcare to find the best doctors at a fair price. The reward is significant. Not only do you get a dividend back to the company, but you can offer a richer plan than your competition.
Mhm.
That's amazing for TA people out there, right? I was like, if you could,
Exactly.
I would imagine, and again, I can't wait to get to Evolve because I want to get feedback from people, is that how many companies out there put their health insurance plan out in front and talk about that immediately as
That's
a
a great point.
differentiator instead of, this is everything that's great about our company or the social aspect of it, the
Yeah,
pay, all that
with
stuff,
free
and
coffee.
and cringe when they say, and here's our benefit package.
Absolutely. I mean, there used to be a little bit of a stigma with candidates that would ask about benefits early in the interview process.
Mhm.
And years ago, I'd be like, can we just get through the conversation first? But, you know, the candidates, the candidate experience and these types of, offers that are a part of, signing the agreement to do the work for a business are becoming very, very important. And you had hit on a big aspect as far as why are we not selling that earlier? It's typically like you're explaining. There's confusion, there's lack of education, there's cost. It's not prioritized necessarily from a budget and impact standpoint. But as you had already mentioned, there's so many ripple effect impacts. So, um, you know, obviously selling a rich benefit package always makes my job as a recruiter much better because they're going to know that they're safe and taken care of. And that employee impact is what we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
So, when you're focusing on a health plan that benefits the employees directly in terms of reducing their financial burden and improving their access to care, how do you do that essentially? And you had shared one story that was very relevant around this topic of employee impact when we first connected. I don't know if it's relevant to share that now, but it was, such a meaningful conversation. I'd love for you to share it here.
Sure. And that's really what's changed. It gets me so excited about going to work now is that, for the first 25 years when I sold insurance, it was done. I mean, we serviced the account, but now I have conversations with those employees who are the most vulnerable. And I can tell you,
Mm,
people are suffering and maybe they might not always bring it to HR, but now that they know that they're working with a benefits consultant that's focused on the quality of healthcare, I'm now
mhm.
put in touch with members, and I became a grandfather on Grandparents' Day in September. And
Congratulations.
yeah, thank you. September 8th, Haley, my little baby,
Throw up
doll
some
now.
hearts for
So
babies.
excited. But 2 weeks before that, now my son's 32. He was expecting his first. He was excited and scared to death at the
Oh,
same time. And so was I. Being a grandparent's a little
yeah.
intimidating. Um, but 2 weeks before she was born, I had a conversation with a member, an employee at our newest client in Massachusetts, great company.
Okay.
And a week after it went live, which was in August, the CFO was exchanging emails with one of his employees, who's a young man who had a 6-month-old that needs a bone marrow transplant.
Mm,
And when I heard about it and I saw the exchange, the CFO had mentioned to the employee that we chose the new broker not because he's going to disrupt things, but he cares. And I thought, wow, my message got across. That was amazing. And I said I'd love to talk to him. And he arranged the call, and I spoke to the young man, and I said, I just want to let you know, you are employee number one, not only to me but to your employer. They care. I would do nothing to disrupt this plan, knowing what you're going through.
mhm.
So I wanted to put his mind at ease. There's no change happening. Nothing. Nothing. It wasn't about change. I said, but let me ask you a really difficult question. What do you know about the doctor that you're about to hand your baby over to do this procedure? And he admitted he knew nothing. And that's the way the healthcare system and the insurance companies work. They know who the best doctors are. Yet no one from the largest hospital system in Massachusetts or the largest insurance company in the country had reached out to say, hey, we know that this is happening. We'd like to help you find the best doctor. So I ran a report. We have access to a tremendous amount of information. And that's where the change happens, in the data that we have that's available, that no one knows about, to
It's
help.
always about the data.
It's
but
the data, and
yeah,
it is kept very, very close to the source, and it doesn't get out to the consumer. And I said, I can give you a report, or I can help you find the best doctor. And he was leery because he had worked 6 months to get to the point where he's at, and he was afraid that maybe he was going to find out he found a bad doctor. I said, I know you're hesitant. I'm not going to ask you for the doctor's name. Let me send you the report, and you let me know if we're good. And thankfully, luckily, he had found a good doctor. Maybe not the best, but he was okay. And that's what's most despicable about it, is that it's about making money for the healthcare system and the insurance companies, and the hundreds of ways they do that by manipulating prices. But shouldn't people in 2025, when we can shop for anything, and if I told you right now, if you could find me the price within a minute of a 72-inch LED blah, blah, blah TV and let me know when it's going to get delivered to you, I'll pay for it. You could find that in a minute. But find the best bone marrow transplant provider for a 6-month-old in Massachusetts, it's nearly impossible unless you know where to look. And that's what we help people do. We help them eliminate the artificial prices in their plan. But even if we can't do that for some really small businesses, isn't it important to give people the resources to find the best doctor when they need it the most? And that's our mission these days. And it's really rewarding when we can help people do that.
Absolutely. So you kind of hit on, some of the challenges that the HR leaders face with controlling those costs and how you and your plans support that. So I'm going to kind of go a little rogue for a moment based on my lived experience in coming up in talent and HR as a person who has suffered from addiction. And I have been sober since May 11, 2011 without alcohol. And I'm very public about it because I think if I had seen, cool, almost hip 50-year-old women talking about this kind of stuff, breaking the stigma, then, maybe I would have found my way to health and serenity a little sooner. But over time, I have experienced as recruiters oftentimes build very strong relationships with the people that they hire. And we're oftentimes the first people they go to with benefit questions. And over the years, I've had multiple situations where employees have been hired at an organization, they've been onboarded, worked for whatever period of time, and they have a life addiction problem. And they weren't able to find access to the information they needed to get help. Is that part of something that you coach or guide your clients on from a education, resources, communication standpoint? Because I had a kid, it was less than 6 months ago that I had placed over a year ago, reached out to me and said, Anna, I don't know who to talk to about this. Can you help me? And luckily I had relationships still at the organization that I could say, hey, is this the right person that I should have this person talk to? And then are you also seeing in benefit resources, plans and access to help people with addiction challenges?
So the answer is yes. We don't do it in-house, right? So I would if I had to. But the beautiful thing is that since I've entered this new world, I've gone to amazing events, but also there's ecosystems of advisors, TPA, third-party companies that will help with musculoskeletal abuse. Mm-hmm. So many things. Here's the bottom line is that employers buy insurance and they kind of set it and forget it, and they leave their employees thinking that's the only thing they need to do. And now their employees are at the mercy of a very predatory healthcare system. And I'm not talking about the doctors and nurses and practitioners. The business of healthcare is despicable. They've allowed these monopolies, these huge hospital systems, to purchase every level of care, all the way down to the primary care doctors now. And they use them as shepherds to steer people into the healthcare system. And the insurance companies are not providing assistance or guidance. So what every company out there needs to do is to say, there's the insurance aspect that protects the financial risk to the business and to the people.
Right.
But that is not the only solution, because issuing that ID card and your employees be at the mercy of a healthcare system. So what we do is, for larger companies, we embed it into the plan.
Okay.
One of the most impactful solutions that we put in is nurse advocates, care coordinators that are embedded immediately into the plan and get the data. It's all masked. They don't see names. They see ID numbers, but they see diagnosis. They see medications. They can see who's avoided their well visits. And their nurses are the number one trusted profession in the world. They're amazing people. And the good that they've done for our clients when we've embedded it immediately into the plan is mind-boggling. I mean, it's the one thing that our clients tell us: we're not changing this. You can change the health plan, you can change the network, you can change the pharmacy, all the creative things we can do. You're not taking Nurse Sam or Nurse Angela away from us.
Nurse Angela has to stay.
And that's actually their names that we work with. But then there's also amazing companies. The names. I'm not sure if you'd want me to or not, but third-party administrators that embed care navigation, claims help into the plan, because the technology that these companies. I'll mention one. I like to Touch Care is an amazing company.
Okay.
We embed, and now our HR leaders, our partners, now when the employee comes to them, they say, call Touch Care. They can help you find the best doctor. You need help with addiction, they have someone to put you in touch with.
And that's so much better because, for example, this young man, I mean, he was like, and I was supposed to end up referring to him like a VP of HR, which didn't seem logical to either of us. And then the follow-up question was, how much do I share? So if I'm talking to a care coordinator, I know I'm protected. My rights are more protected because I basically told him, you may want to go commit yourself to rehab first and then start the process because you're already, getting support.
Yes. Yeah. The idea is not to give HR more work. It's to reduce the work, make them more efficient, give them the tools they need in order to offer the most robust, least expensive, both in out-of-pocket costs and contributions out of pay, possible, to give them a tool to attract the best talent and then keep it. And that's very possible. And that's, it's so broken. Everybody, any employer out there, most employer plans out there who rely exclusively on insurance are overpaying significantly, especially in medications. You can reduce the cost of your medications if you're large enough to self-insure, which is scary, but if you do it right, it's not scary at all. You can reduce it by 50%. We've found medications that are $230,000 on drug formularies that are free.
Wow.
As long as you don't have insurance for it. But insurance companies put it on their drug list because they make $100,000 rebate on the sale of that medication, because your insurance companies aren't just your insurance companies. They're also your broker for medications, but they're also the doctors. United Healthcare employs more doctors than anybody in the country. And they give them this distinguished acknowledgement on their provider list. It's only because they want people to go to their doctors, because guess what? They get paid when they're your doctor too. There's all these different pockets. So we educate our HR leaders because we know that they are the heartbeat. There's no question. But also, shouldn't they get the acknowledgement? We know that they would all do this if they knew it was possible. They just need someone to sit down and have an honest conversation with them. So, and that's why and I'll talk about it at Evolve a little bit. I started the Benefit Champions Network. I'll work with any HR leader, and it's like a think tank, right? You mentioned the Outlier Project.
That. Yeah.
Those people. You don't have to be a client of mine. I will help anybody because, again, to your point, it's people. If they can help their people,
and
if they know about it, maybe I would get more opportunities out of it. It just it's too easy to fix, and it's too
Well,
important.
it is important. And I love the way you position that. I was having a conversation with another friend recently, and I'm a big community builder. I love to have events. I've served over 15,000 job seekers with my audio events, and I was planning in-person events before COVID, et cetera. And so I'm really excited about, bringing this community together. And the way I approach, community and networking is all in this energy of collaboration over competition. And it always breaks my heart a little bit when, you know, people are unable to kind of step into that energy because they're basically stepping on their own feet and short-sighting themselves because I just believe the more good that we put out, the more good that will come back to us, right?
Sure.
And we can learn so much from our competitors, from our community. I mean, Lou, you're almost, changing my mindset and how I feel about benefits in general, because it's always been a confusing topic, right? And I've had to make sure that I had competency and education around it so I didn't sound stupid. But I hope our listeners, and I know that the people that are coming to Evolve are more of that collaboration over competition type of folks and are very heart-centered like we are. But I love, again, that you focus on that. So it's the Benefits Champion Network. Is that what
Yep.
you said?
Yep.
Are you going to be hosting, different conversations? Tell me a little bit more.
Yeah, so the idea, and we wanted to get it started a couple of years ago. COVID kind of disrupted that a little bit, but it's the right time. So we're going to have there's a website. It's benefitchampions.network. You can go there.
Okay.
You can register. It's completely free. We're going to be having monthly webinars to discuss conversations or just topics that are relevant. The idea. This is, what? There's been 30 years of grooming by managed care, both on the insurance and the healthcare side. It's not complicated at all, really. It's just maximizing profits on a consumer who's been deliberately kept in the dark. All you need to do is unleash the American healthcare consumer. That means employers who are selecting plans, and then employees who are selecting among the plans offered by their employer. But most importantly, when they take that ID card and they enter the healthcare system, it's not quite Amazon yet, but where you go matters. And for me, quality is paramount.
Absolutely.
But cost, the differentiator, is like, for example, today, if you knock on wood, only use me, I need an MRI. Whether I need one or not, I'm getting one because I complained I had a headache, let's say. My doctor works for the healthcare system. He's going to pull out a piece of paper and say, here, pick one of these places within our network. That's a $3,000 MRI. Now, as a consumer, you don't know that there's an independent radiologist right down the block that's in your network for your healthcare system that might be $800. But what you really don't know is you could pay $300 cash. There's a map. There's a map for $17 a year.
I tend to screw that whole process up all the time because my husband's like, why did you go to this doctor? And I'm like, oh, I thought it was, in network, or I'm getting smarter. Like I recently had to ask for a referral for something and was able to finagle it the correct way. But you're so right.
What if you had a tool on your phone and you knew that as your employer, I say, use this tool and wherever you go is free?
Yeah, I would love that.
It exists.
You'll have to be sure to share some of those links in the event comments after today.
Absolutely.
Because I'm a little rusty on live streaming, or else I would try to type it in for you. But for everyone listening, look out for the link to join the Benefit Champions conversations by Lou. Obviously, you can see that he knows his stuff and is passionate about making our lives easier as HR and TA leaders, but also, just being a people over everything kind of champion, which is why we get along so well. Yeah. So you're excited about coming to Atlanta. Super. It's going to snow on Friday, which I'm manifesting, meaning is on January 30th. And you have like a little special connection to Atlanta, right?
I do. My son went to Georgia Tech. I got to love the city. He's now
Yeah.
out in Seattle. He became an aerospace engineer. Super proud of him. And
Wow.
yeah, so I can't wait to get back. My wife and I love the town. She unfortunately had surgery yesterday, so she won't be able to make the trip with me. But yeah,
Oh, I hope
excited
she's
to
doing
come
all
down
right.
on the 29th.
Yeah,
The conference is on the 30th, and
exactly.
flying out on the
Yeah.
31st. I got to make the most of it.
Fantastic. Well, we are, I think, 21 days away from the big event, just over about 45% in capacity. So I think a lot of people are still kind of shaking off the holiday fog and
Mhm.
trying to plan their 2025. And, I've been talking to quite a bit of teams saying, hey, I know it's quick turnaround, but one, I know you probably have career development money left over from 2024. Don't be lying. And then two, like spontaneity is fun, say walk up. I was telling somebody, I was like, as a recruiter, I never had leaders be like, hey, go to this webinar or go to this conference. Like I was the person that was constantly chasing continuing education information because I wanted to stay relevant, right? But how cool would it be if my, CHRO walked over and was like, hey, you guys are going to go to a career development day. So enjoy. Here's the information that you need.
Absolutely.
So that's what I'm really focused on. And, the why behind Evolve is really just lifting up the TA and HR community because we have a bad habit of forgetting to put the oxygen mask on ourselves because we're so busy caring and taking care of the businesses and the people that we lead and support. So I'm so excited that you're going to be there. You're going to have a fun little giveaway in the promotional swag bags. So I don't want to give that. Oh,
I
we are
was
going
going
to
to
give
tell
it
you.
away.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's
It's
fine.
totally up to you. It's totally up to you. You're kind of like me. I have a heart for gift giving, and my office looks crazy right now because
Yeah.
I keep ordering things, and my husband's like, "When is it going to stop?" I'm like,
I know.
"Never." Do you
Well,
want
on
to show
that
it?
note, yeah, no, I'll save that. But on
Okay.
that note, one more gift. The first person who has not already registered that messages me on LinkedIn, I'll cover their cost to go to Evolve.
Shut up.
I
Let me
will.
put that in the comments. Say it
Absolutely.
again. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh,
If you message me,
Lou.
and it might have happened already, I don't know. I'm getting messages. I will, if you're not already registered and you want to go, maybe your company
I'll
won't
take
pay
it.
for it.
Okay.
I will cover your cost. I'd love to see it
See
get
more
sold
people
out.
there.
It's going
Yeah.
to be an
Awesome.
amazing time.
Well, perfect. And, friends, if you've ever attended any of my events, my audio events, you know that one, I get great people together. And then two, those people tend to do magical ripple effect, super cool, awesome shit. And then three, if I've shown up for you, I've given back to you in some way, please help us spread the word about Evolve. Definitely to your Atlanta, Southeast contacts, anywhere that's an easy drive. And just remind people that it's okay to invest in themselves and, just take one day. I understand that your time off and your vacation time is important. A lot of times they have to take time off for appointments and whatnot. But I feel like continuing education and community building and in person connection is just as valuable as going to a doctor's appointment. You need that heart to heart connection because what I've seen in this community of HR and TA people suffering with their mental health is loneliness, the lack of connection, feeling isolated. And, I just want to bring this community together to love on them, elevate them, help them remember what amazing humans they are, and just reimagine the world of work and reignite their passion for the people and the teams that they lead. So I
Absolutely.
am so thrilled to have you as one of our premier sponsors. I can't wait for you to share more with our attendees, and thank you for your gracious gift. And look forward to seeing you in a short 21 days.
Absolutely. Can't wait. It's 25 degrees here in New York today. So
Oh, well,
I'm banking on at least a 20-degree difference when I get down there.
I'm working on that for you.
Thank
Right
you.
now it's 37, feels like 28. So
I'll
we're
take
kind
it.
of in the same boat, unfortunately. All right, friends, if you enjoyed our conversation, feel free to tag some career BFFs in the comments or repost our conversation would be awesome. Otherwise, I hope to see you on these LinkedIn streets or in person in Atlanta on my birthday, January
Ooh, I forgot
30th.
about that. Oh, gotta make a note. Gotta make a note. Anna's
Oh,
birthday.
well, I'm going to be leaning into that for the next 21 days because, I mean, what better excuse to, get people together, especially all my, LinkedIn buddies, than to say, hey, come to Atlanta for an event and then stay for the party, is what I'm saying.
Absolutely. Can't wait.
All right. Thank you so much,
Awesome.
Lou. Thanks,
Appreciate
everyone.
it.
Appreciate you.
Thanks.